Welcome back. All right, so some news of the day for all you fine people on the internet for your Thursday, December the 28th. Starting with, from last night's games, Chris Letang had himself a night. 5 assists in one period of hockey, becoming the first defenseman in NHL history to achieve that many assists in one period of play. The Penguins scored 6 times last night against the Islanders in a stretch of 10 minutes and 27 seconds. It was interesting to me last night how some teams that didn't look very good going to the break looked fantastic, and some teams that looked great going to the break didn't look great last night. So we'll see if that's the start of a trend or whatever that is over the next few days. But for the Penguins, last night was a really strong game. Letang, apparently paired with Pettersson, works for him. Reading up on what changed. Carlson didn't have a point last night, so read into that what you will. But for the Penguins, a really strong game and a victory. So we'll see how the lineup looks the next game out. So I want to talk a bit about the Canucks here too. Canuck fans, of course, very excited about where they are in the standings. Those who want to, maybe not necessarily pour cold water on it, but those who are looking at the numbers and saying, is this sustainable? So one thing with the Canucks that's been looked at is their shooting percentage as a team. 13.8%. And to put it into perspective, second place in the National Hockey League is Detroit with a shooting percentage of 11.7%. So for critics, that becomes something you look at and say, is that sustainable? And so for the Vancouver Canucks, they get asked, and what are they going to say? Yeah, our shooting percentage is going to drop. The other side of it is the save percentage for the team is .918. That's second overall in the NHL behind Boston's .921. So again, it's a matter of, can you expect those numbers to stay that high? And if not, you can expect the Canucks record to come down somewhat. I think really for the Canucks at this point, they haven't been a playoff team since 2020. That was the first time they made the playoffs since 2015. Honestly, if they make the playoffs, I would be happy either way as a Canuck fan. But I do understand that the shooting percentage is high. It just means that when the shooting percentage starts to drop, they need to be preventing goals against. They need to keep the save percentage up. I think they're going to be fine, but again, there are those who will, point at their record and say, well, I don't think so, and there's not much you can say to the people who are going to have that opinion. But yeah, I think they're quite good right now. Montreal news, Harris has been activated off the injured reserve. And interestingly enough, Kovacevic is going to be the healthy scratch, meaning Struble has moved ahead of Kovacevic on the list of defensemen in the Montreal Canadiens organization, at least for this game tonight. And that's a great statement for how well Struble's played. Can't wait to see Harris in the lineup for Montreal again, first time in 15 games. And I've been saying for a while that I'm impressed with the defense Montreal's putting together. I think a couple of years from now, with the right tweaking there, this is going to be a very good blue line in Montreal. Speaking of blue liners, Tyson Barrie, he's got an upper body injury coming out of last night's game with Carolina. He's seen as day-to-day, so it's not as bad as it could have been, but him being injured, it's never a good time to be injured if you're a hockey player. So hopefully he's not out for that long. Barrie may very well end up being on the move before the deadline. He's on an expiring contract. But we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Buffalo news. Tage Thompson has been moved to non-roster. It's personal, but they're saying he could return Saturday. And I was looking for what it is. To me, it sounds like, when your girlfriend or wife is about to give birth kind of thing, where, you need some time off. And so he's been moved to non-roster. But the fact they're saying he could return Saturday means it's not going to be anything tragic and family related there. So we'll see how long Thompson's out, but it sounds like he could be back as soon as Saturday for the Buffalo Sabres. Sad news for Columbus fans. Zach Werenski, gets hurt last night, and it's being seen as more likely week to week than day to day. He's being evaluated, but it's probably not going to be a short-term injury for Werenski. Werenski, no stranger to injury, of course. Week to week, better than the injury he had last year that took him out for most of the season. But still, not optimal for a Columbus team that really would like to get back in the hunt for a playoff spot, but this is just another hit to that team. Roslovic could return to the lineup tomorrow. Corrali won't. Not really a surprise when you think about that injury with Corrali that he's not going to be back within the first couple of games, but the fact that we're even talking about it tells you it's not going to be as bad as feared. This is all being reported by Jeff Svoboda, who I could go ahead and throw to recommend to follow on Twitter/X. But yeah, Werenski being out week to week is not optimal for Columbus. Although, again, navigating injuries on the blue line, nothing new for the Blue Jackets. Last night's game, Lindy Ruff, very impressed with Luke Hughes on that end-to-end goal. And honestly, that's one of the prettiest goals I've seen this season. He went through all the Columbus Blue Jackets. He did. It looked like he went full arcade mode in that. And so coming out of that, Lindy Ruff compares the skill, the skating, just the overall game of Luke Hughes to Paul Coffey and Brian Leetch. He is not saying he is as good as Brian Leetch and Paul Coffey were, just that that's what it's reminiscent of. And so it was a tying goal that impressed everybody on his bench and may very well have been what helped them win that game. When you see your teammate go out and do something like that, hey, you want to win the game now. You feel pretty good. And New Jersey needed that too. So we'll see if this is the start of that New Jersey turnaround. I say that even though I think they're 7-3-1 in their last 11 games now. So it's not that New Jersey's playing that badly. It's just that they got themselves below the playoff line, which causes everything to be kind of under the microscope after that. World Juniors news, day 3 is kind of quiet. The USA defeated Switzerland 11-3, so no mercy on that one. Sweden and Germany are in progress. Last I saw, there wasn't a score in that one, 0-0. So we'll see if Germany can pull off another impressive win in this tournament or if Sweden's going to get that win. But the U.S. are seen as the likeliest team to win the gold medal at this year's World Juniors. It'll be fascinating to see if USA is able to do that or if Canada comes up and wins it, or maybe Sweden, Finland, Germany, Slovakia. There's a lot of countries that are in this. It'll be interesting to see who wins. Waiver wire news from today as well. Hutchinson's been waived by Detroit, meaning that one of their goalies is coming back. And Jost has been waived by the Buffalo Sabres. I would expect Jost and Hutchinson both to clear. This is also a sign that the roster freeze is done. If you can put a player on waivers, roster freeze is behind us, and we'll be moving forward and waiting for the trade deadline, which is, of course, March the 8th. Between now and then, rumors will abound, and most of those rumors will turn out to be not necessarily untrue, because it's a rumor, but ones that are maybe a little bit misleading. This team's definitely making a move. They're going to trade this person, and then they don't. That kind of thing. But we'll see how things go over the next couple of months. I'll be here to talk about it, minus that 1 week that we're going to be in California. But during that week, I'll be able to talk about things while I'm in California as well. Also, I'm doing an interview today with Brody Brazil. That'll be heard on his channel and podcast, and also some of it may end up in the San Jose broadcast tonight against the Edmonton Oilers on the NBC Sports. NBC Sports California is what San Jose is broadcasted on. So anyways, there you go. I just figured I'd throw that little bit of a plug in there. But let me know your thoughts regarding any of these items from today's news. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And one question I'd ask for people watching this too, the idea that the Vancouver Canucks shooting percentage, save percentage, both being as high as they are, it not being 100% sustainable. How do you feel about that? Where do you think the numbers end up? And will the Canucks end up finishing first in the division or third, or where do you think they end up? Let me know your thoughts. Thank you guys so much for all your support as always. And if you haven't already hit like and subscribe, please do. I will talk to you again soon.